He fires on the money. Rebound, score! Couldn't hold it out. Look out! Oh, Reddick with a great save. As Collender right on the doorstep. Hey! Comets win. The Turk. Oh, boy.
Say that again. Say that again.
Comets win the Turner Cup. A 20-year drought. Whoa! What a team, what a game, what a series. What a year!
Throughout time, the world has been graced with some amazing people. Sparsely, however, we come upon a figure where it's difficult for words to even describe the prestige they've invoked upon us. Longtime radio broadcaster for the Fort Wayne Comets Hockey Club was more than just a thunderous voice describing the plays of Comets hockey for those who picked up the station 1190 WOWO near and far. He was a man who not only did what he loved until the age of 90, calling Comets games for 63 straight seasons up almost until the day he was taken from us, but a man who had a smile that could light up the darkest rooms on the worst of days, who was a friend to all, an inspiration to many, and who made a positive impact on anyone who had the great fortune to be graced by his presence. Today with this piece, myself and some of the other ECHL broadcasters remember the man we all looked forward to have the honor of broadcasting next to every season. We will hear from some of the great voices around the league as they share a brief memory of Bob that they were oh so lucky to have. First off, voice of the Manchester Monarchs, Ken Cowell's moment was simply interviewing Mr. Chase last year. Here's a clip from that interview.
And I appreciate the fact that I've had a chance to talk with you and a chance to give greetings to the folks back where the Manchester Monarchs are playing. And nice and happy to see you, another guy who's had some background and experience, and there aren't many of us.
Bob Chase, you are terrific. You're one of a kind, and thanks so much for being with us.
Merry Christmas and God bless.
Now to Mark Beninati in Rapid City.
I only had one chance to meet Mr. Chase, and it was over a 2-day span on a 4-game and 5-night and 3 different city road trip. It was a 0-0 game between the Rapid City Rush and the Fort Wayne Comets, the only time I got to meet Bob, and I'm sick as a dog calling this game that went right down to the wire. Fort Wayne got the winner with about 3 minutes left in the game on a power play goal. I'm panting, I'm absolutely tired and gassed, and here comes Bob at 90 years old and 63 years of doing this, with this big grin on his face, and he says, boy, that was a fun one, wasn't it? And I will never forget how his passion, after 63 years of doing this and at 90 years old, never wavered. Then the next night, it's his 90th birthday celebration, and Doc Emmerich is there, and the look on his face when his young protege came out of the locker room was a special sight I will never, ever forget. You will be missed, Mr. Chase. You will really, truly be missed.
Hey, this is John Peterson of the Tulsa Oilers, and just wanted to send my condolences to the family and friends of Bob Chase and everybody back in Fort Wayne. He was such an icon, a legend in the hockey community, and I was fortunate enough to have a chance to meet him last year as an ECHL rookie when I was with the Evansville Icemen. When we were up in Fort Wayne, I had a commercial break with an interview to play, and just put a long commercial break together because Bob called me up to his press box, which was right above the visiting spot, and I couldn't miss that opportunity to pick his brain and get to know him and find out a little bit more about him and what advice he had for a young up-and-coming broadcaster, and it really meant a lot that he took that time to invite me up there and to get to know me a little bit. And he's such a great person. He meant so much to Fort Wayne and to the hockey community, and he'll be dearly missed.
Hi, this is Bob Rennison, broadcaster for the Missouri Mavericks. I am blessed to have met and interviewed Bob Chase. He certainly was a legend. But when he met with me, he asked questions of things that I was doing, and that made me feel so good. What a gracious and wonderful man. The world will certainly miss Bob Chase.
This is Jason Mals with the Wichita Thunder. Wanted to send my condolences and thoughts and prayers to the family of Bob Chase and the Fort Wayne Comets. I had an opportunity to work with Bob during the 2011-12 season. Had a great experience learning from him throughout the year, and then we played them in the final that year. And you know, he always had a smile on his face, just a welcoming presence when he came into the building. Had some good conversations with him and learned a little bit about how to be a pro that year. It was my first year back with the team since I left to go to a radio station. So just again want to say thoughts and prayers to everybody that is dealing with this terrible loss. It's certainly a tough one for the world of hockey, and we wish him the best and his family the best.
Now to the man who was closer to Bob than all of us, who who on an emotional night gave thanks to Mr. Chase for giving him the opportunity to follow in the footsteps of his childhood hero. Here's Comets broadcaster Shane Albarani on the night of his passing.
And I always dreamed that someday I was gonna do that. And that's from the age of 9 when I called my first game in a tape recorder. So that started my career path. So without Bob Chase, I'm not on this career path. I would not have led the life I have led. I certainly would not be in this seat. Who knows? I may not have met my wife and had my beautiful daughter if it was not for Bob Chase putting me on that path to become a broadcaster.
I myself sat at the Memorial Coliseum as a child and looked up into the press box and said to myself, one day I want to be just like Bob Chase. Eventually working with Chase as a broadcasting intern, I learned what it took to be Bob Chase when I grew up, just like I always wanted. It was more important than just being a great voice on the air. It was giving back to your community, always being humble, and making an impact on the lives of many. The only reason I'm where I am as the broadcasting voice of the Atlanta Gladiators is because of Bob. The lessons he taught me, the guidance he gave, and the passion for the sport that we shared, I will never forget. My greatest memory of Bob? Well, we were on a long bus trip to Evansville, and he was telling me about the 2 NHL jobs that he turned down to stay with the Comets. I said, Bob, you're crazy. Why would you do that? And then he said the statement that I will always remember and live every day by. Because if I die today, I'll die the happiest man to ever have walked this earth. And my friend, that's what life's all about. Always an inspiration. Your legacy will live on in the hearts of many for decades to come. For all my fellow broadcasters, I'm Chris Treft. Here's to you, Mr. Chase. May you rest in peace.
I always loved my family, and that's what I want to be remembered for, is the good times we had, the places we've been, the things I've done, and I'm so thankful that I've had the opportunity I've had to be involved with so many people, thousands over the lifetime of my career, and I hope I've left them a little something good, and I hope they remember me as a good guy.